War.
The war lasted for 5 years. The war lasted for 5 years. Many people died in the war. Many people died in the war. They declared war on their enemy. They declared war on their enemy.
Battle.
The battle was fierce. The battle was fierce. They won the battle. They won the battle. Many soldiers died in the battle. Many soldiers died in the battle.
Conflict.
The conflict escalated quickly. The conflict escalated quickly. They tried to resolve the conflict peacefully. They tried to resolve the conflict peacefully. The conflict lasted for months. The conflict lasted for months.
Soldier.
The soldier fought bravely. The soldier fought bravely. Many soldiers were injured. Many soldiers were injured. He became a soldier at age 18. He became a soldier at age 18.
Army.
The army advanced toward the enemy. The army advanced toward the enemy. He joined the army. He joined the army. The army was well trained. The army was well trained.
Military.
He has a military background. He has a military background. The military intervened. The military intervened. Military service is mandatory there. Military service is mandatory there.
Weapon.
They confiscated the weapons. They confiscated the weapons. The weapon was loaded. The weapon was loaded. He carried a weapon. He carried a weapon.
Gun.
The gun fired. The gun fired. He pointed the gun at the target. He pointed the gun at the target. The gun was loaded. The gun was loaded.
Rifle.
The soldier carried a rifle. The soldier carried a rifle. He aimed the rifle carefully. He aimed the rifle carefully. The rifle was accurate. The rifle was accurate.
Bullet.
The bullet hit the target. The bullet hit the target. He was hit by a bullet. He was hit by a bullet. The bullet missed. The bullet missed.
Bomb.
The bomb exploded. The bomb exploded. They defused the bomb. They defused the bomb. A bomb went off in the city. A bomb went off in the city.
Explosion.
The explosion was heard miles away. The explosion was heard miles away. Many people were injured in the explosion. Many people were injured in the explosion. The explosion destroyed the building. The explosion destroyed the building.
To fight.
They fought for their country. They fought for their country. The soldiers fought bravely. The soldiers fought bravely. They fought against the enemy. They fought against the enemy.
To attack.
The enemy attacked at dawn. The enemy attacked at dawn. They attacked the city. They attacked the city. The army attacked from the north. The army attacked from the north.
To defend.
They defended their position. They defended their position. The soldiers defended the city. The soldiers defended the city. They defended themselves bravely. They defended themselves bravely.
To shoot.
The soldier shot at the enemy. The soldier shot at the enemy. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. He shot the target. He shot the target.
To kill.
Many people were killed in the war. Many people were killed in the war. The bomb killed dozens. The bomb killed dozens. They killed the enemy soldier. They killed the enemy soldier.
To die.
Many soldiers died in battle. Many soldiers died in battle. He died for his country. He died for his country. They died from their wounds. They died from their wounds.
To wound.
The bullet wounded him. The bullet wounded him. Many were wounded in the attack. Many were wounded in the attack. He was wounded in combat. He was wounded in combat.
To injure.
The explosion injured many people. The explosion injured many people. He was injured in battle. He was injured in battle. They injured several soldiers. They injured several soldiers.
To surrender.
The enemy surrendered. The enemy surrendered. They refused to surrender. They refused to surrender. The general surrendered his forces. The general surrendered his forces.
Enemy.
The enemy attacked at night. The enemy attacked at night. They defeated the enemy. They defeated the enemy. The enemy forces retreated. The enemy forces retreated.
Ally.
They are our allies. They are our allies. The ally provided support. The ally provided support. We fought alongside our allies. We fought alongside our allies.
General.
The general commanded the army. The general commanded the army. The general gave orders. The general gave orders. The general was respected. The general was respected.
Commander.
The commander led the troops. The commander led the troops. The commander made the decision. The commander made the decision. They followed the commander's orders. They followed the commander's orders.
Officer.
The officer gave commands. The officer gave commands. He is a high-ranking officer. He is a high-ranking officer. The officer inspected the troops. The officer inspected the troops.
Troops.
The troops advanced. The troops advanced. They sent more troops. They sent more troops. The troops were well trained. The troops were well trained.
Base.
The military base was attacked. The military base was attacked. They returned to the base. They returned to the base. The base was heavily guarded. The base was heavily guarded.
Camp.
The soldiers set up camp. The soldiers set up camp. They stayed in the camp. They stayed in the camp. The camp was well organized. The camp was well organized.
Tank.
The tank rolled across the field. The tank rolled across the field. They destroyed the enemy tank. They destroyed the enemy tank. The tank fired its cannon. The tank fired its cannon.
Airplane.
The airplane dropped bombs. The airplane dropped bombs. Enemy airplanes flew overhead. Enemy airplanes flew overhead. The airplane was shot down. The airplane was shot down.
Helicopter.
The helicopter transported troops. The helicopter transported troops. The helicopter flew low. The helicopter flew low. They used helicopters for rescue. They used helicopters for rescue.
Ship.
The warship sailed into battle. The warship sailed into battle. The ship carried supplies. The ship carried supplies. The enemy ship was sunk. The enemy ship was sunk.
Submarine.
The submarine submerged. The submarine submerged. The submarine launched torpedoes. The submarine launched torpedoes. They detected the enemy submarine. They detected the enemy submarine.
Missile.
The missile hit its target. The missile hit its target. They launched a missile. They launched a missile. The missile was intercepted. The missile was intercepted.
Grenade.
He threw a grenade. He threw a grenade. The grenade exploded. The grenade exploded. They used grenades in the attack. They used grenades in the attack.
Sword.
The soldier drew his sword. The soldier drew his sword. He fought with a sword. He fought with a sword. The sword was sharp. The sword was sharp.
Knife.
The soldier carried a knife. The soldier carried a knife. He used the knife as a weapon. He used the knife as a weapon. The knife was for close combat. The knife was for close combat.
Shield.
The soldier raised his shield. The soldier raised his shield. The shield protected him. The shield protected him. They used shields for defense. They used shields for defense.
Uniform.
The soldier wore a uniform. The soldier wore a uniform. The uniform was camouflage. The uniform was camouflage. They all wore the same uniform. They all wore the same uniform.
Helmet.
The soldier put on his helmet. The soldier put on his helmet. The helmet protected his head. The helmet protected his head. They all wore helmets. They all wore helmets.
Ammunition.
They ran out of ammunition. They ran out of ammunition. The ammunition was stored safely. The ammunition was stored safely. They needed more ammunition. They needed more ammunition.
Supplies.
The supplies arrived by truck. The supplies arrived by truck. They needed food supplies. They needed food supplies. The supplies were running low. The supplies were running low.
Casualty.
There were many casualties. There were many casualties. The casualty count was high. The casualty count was high. They reported the casualties. They reported the casualties.
Prisoner.
They took prisoners. They took prisoners. The prisoner was interrogated. The prisoner was interrogated. They released the prisoners. They released the prisoners.
Prisoner of war.
He was a prisoner of war. He was a prisoner of war. They captured prisoners of war. They captured prisoners of war. The prisoner of war was released. The prisoner of war was released.
Spy.
The spy gathered information. The spy gathered information. They caught the spy. They caught the spy. The spy was executed. The spy was executed.
Intelligence.
Military intelligence reported enemy movements. Military intelligence reported enemy movements. They gathered intelligence. They gathered intelligence. The intelligence was accurate. The intelligence was accurate.
Strategy.
The general planned the strategy. The general planned the strategy. Their strategy worked. Their strategy worked. The strategy was brilliant. The strategy was brilliant.
Tactic.
They used new tactics. They used new tactics. The tactic surprised the enemy. The tactic surprised the enemy. Military tactics evolved. Military tactics evolved.
Frontline.
The soldiers were on the front line. The soldiers were on the front line. The front line was dangerous. The front line was dangerous. They advanced the front line. They advanced the front line.
Trench.
The soldiers hid in the trench. The soldiers hid in the trench. They dug trenches. They dug trenches. The trench provided protection. The trench provided protection.
Fortress.
The fortress was heavily defended. The fortress was heavily defended. They attacked the fortress. They attacked the fortress. The fortress fell after a long siege. The fortress fell after a long siege.
Siege.
The siege lasted for months. The siege lasted for months. They laid siege to the city. They laid siege to the city. The siege was lifted. The siege was lifted.
Invasion.
The invasion began at dawn. The invasion began at dawn. They prepared for the invasion. They prepared for the invasion. The invasion was successful. The invasion was successful.
Occupation.
The occupation lasted for years. The occupation lasted for years. They resisted the occupation. They resisted the occupation. The occupation ended. The occupation ended.
Retreat.
The army ordered a retreat. The army ordered a retreat. They were forced to retreat. They were forced to retreat. The retreat was orderly. The retreat was orderly.
To retreat.
The enemy retreated. The enemy retreated. They retreated to safety. They retreated to safety. The troops retreated. The troops retreated.
Victory.
They celebrated the victory. They celebrated the victory. The victory was hard won. The victory was hard won. It was a great victory. It was a great victory.
Defeat.
They suffered a defeat. They suffered a defeat. The defeat was crushing. The defeat was crushing. They accepted the defeat. They accepted the defeat.
Peace.
They signed a peace treaty. They signed a peace treaty. Peace was restored. Peace was restored. They longed for peace. They longed for peace.
Treaty.
The treaty ended the war. The treaty ended the war. They signed the treaty. They signed the treaty. The treaty was broken. The treaty was broken.
Ceasefire.
They agreed to a ceasefire. They agreed to a ceasefire. The ceasefire was temporary. The ceasefire was temporary. The ceasefire was violated. The ceasefire was violated.
Truce.
They called a truce. They called a truce. The truce lasted a week. The truce lasted a week. The truce was broken. The truce was broken.
Surrender.
The surrender was unconditional. The surrender was unconditional. They accepted the surrender. They accepted the surrender. The surrender ended the conflict. The surrender ended the conflict.
Armistice.
They signed an armistice. They signed an armistice. The armistice stopped the fighting. The armistice stopped the fighting. The armistice was temporary. The armistice was temporary.
Refugee.
Many refugees fled the war. Many refugees fled the war. The refugee camp was crowded. The refugee camp was crowded. They helped the refugees. They helped the refugees.
Civilian.
Many civilians were killed. Many civilians were killed. The civilians evacuated. The civilians evacuated. They protected the civilians. They protected the civilians.
Casualty.
There were many casualties. There were many casualties. The casualty count was high. The casualty count was high. They reported the casualties. They reported the casualties.
Wound.
The soldier had a serious wound. The soldier had a serious wound. The wound was treated. The wound was treated. He died from his wounds. He died from his wounds.
Injury.
He suffered a severe injury. He suffered a severe injury. The injury prevented him from fighting. The injury prevented him from fighting. Many injuries were reported. Many injuries were reported.
Death.
Many deaths occurred in the war. Many deaths occurred in the war. His death was tragic. His death was tragic. They mourned the deaths. They mourned the deaths.
Destruction.
The destruction was widespread. The destruction was widespread. War causes destruction. War causes destruction. The destruction was devastating. The destruction was devastating.
Damage.
The city suffered heavy damage. The city suffered heavy damage. The damage was extensive. The damage was extensive. They assessed the damage. They assessed the damage.
Ruins.
The city was left in ruins. The city was left in ruins. They walked through the ruins. They walked through the ruins. The ruins were all that remained. The ruins were all that remained.
To destroy.
The bomb destroyed the building. The bomb destroyed the building. They destroyed the enemy base. They destroyed the enemy base. War destroys everything. War destroys everything.
To damage.
The attack damaged the city. The attack damaged the city. Many buildings were damaged. Many buildings were damaged. The explosion damaged everything. The explosion damaged everything.
Danger.
The danger was everywhere. The danger was everywhere. They faced great danger. They faced great danger. The danger was real. The danger was real.
Dangerous.
War is very dangerous. War is very dangerous. It's dangerous to go there. It's dangerous to go there. The situation was dangerous. The situation was dangerous.
Safe.
They found a safe place. They found a safe place. Is it safe here? Is it safe here? They were safe from harm. They were safe from harm.
To protect.
They protected the civilians. They protected the civilians. The army protected the country. The army protected the country. They protected themselves. They protected themselves.
Protection.
They needed protection. They needed protection. The protection was adequate. The protection was adequate. They provided protection. They provided protection.
Brave.
The soldier was very brave. The soldier was very brave. They fought bravely. They fought bravely. It was a brave act. It was a brave act.
Courage.
He showed great courage. He showed great courage. They fought with courage. They fought with courage. Courage is important in war. Courage is important in war.
Fear.
They felt fear. They felt fear. The fear was overwhelming. The fear was overwhelming. They overcame their fear. They overcame their fear.
To fear.
They feared the enemy. They feared the enemy. I fear for their safety. I fear for their safety. They feared the worst. They feared the worst.
Afraid.
They were afraid. They were afraid. I'm afraid of war. I'm afraid of war. They were afraid to fight. They were afraid to fight.
Horror.
The horror of war is terrible. The horror of war is terrible. They witnessed the horror. They witnessed the horror. The horror was unimaginable. The horror was unimaginable.
Terror.
They lived in terror. They lived in terror. The terror was constant. The terror was constant. They felt terror. They felt terror.
Violence.
War is violence. War is violence. The violence was extreme. The violence was extreme. They witnessed the violence. They witnessed the violence.
Violent.
The battle was violent. The battle was violent. It was a violent conflict. It was a violent conflict. They were violent. They were violent.
Brutal.
The war was brutal. The war was brutal. They were brutal. They were brutal. The fighting was brutal. The fighting was brutal.
Cruel.
The enemy was cruel. The enemy was cruel. They were cruel to prisoners. They were cruel to prisoners. War is cruel. War is cruel.
Sad.
War makes people sad. War makes people sad. They were sad about the losses. They were sad about the losses. It was a sad day. It was a sad day.
Sorrow.
They felt great sorrow. They felt great sorrow. The sorrow was deep. The sorrow was deep. War brings sorrow. War brings sorrow.
Grief.
They felt grief for the fallen. They felt grief for the fallen. The grief was overwhelming. The grief was overwhelming. They mourned with grief. They mourned with grief.
Loss.
They suffered great losses. They suffered great losses. The loss of life was tragic. The loss of life was tragic. They mourned their losses. They mourned their losses.
To lose.
They lost many soldiers. They lost many soldiers. They lost the battle. They lost the battle. They lost everything. They lost everything.
To win.
They won the war. They won the war. They won the battle. They won the battle. They won against all odds. They won against all odds.
To fight.
They fought bravely. They fought bravely. They fought for freedom. They fought for freedom. They fought until the end. They fought until the end.
To attack.
They attacked at dawn. They attacked at dawn. The enemy attacked. The enemy attacked. They attacked the city. They attacked the city.
To defend.
They defended their country. They defended their country. They defended the city. They defended the city. They defended themselves. They defended themselves.
To kill.
Many were killed in the war. Many were killed in the war. They killed the enemy. They killed the enemy. War kills innocent people. War kills innocent people.
To die.
Many soldiers died. Many soldiers died. They died for their country. They died for their country. He died in battle. He died in battle.
To survive.
Few survived the battle. Few survived the battle. They survived the war. They survived the war. He survived the attack. He survived the attack.
To escape.
They tried to escape. They tried to escape. The prisoners escaped. The prisoners escaped. They escaped from the enemy. They escaped from the enemy.
To capture.
They captured the enemy. They captured the enemy. They captured the city. They captured the city. The spy was captured. The spy was captured.
To rescue.
They rescued the prisoners. They rescued the prisoners. They rescued the civilians. They rescued the civilians. The mission was to rescue them. The mission was to rescue them.
To help.
They helped the wounded. They helped the wounded. They helped the refugees. They helped the refugees. They helped each other. They helped each other.
To save.
They saved many lives. They saved many lives. They saved the city. They saved the city. They saved themselves. They saved themselves.
To order.
The general ordered the attack. The general ordered the attack. They ordered a retreat. They ordered a retreat. He ordered them to advance. He ordered them to advance.
Order.
They followed the order. They followed the order. The order was clear. The order was clear. They received the order. They received the order.
Command.
The command was given. The command was given. They obeyed the command. They obeyed the command. The command was urgent. The command was urgent.
To command.
The general commanded the army. The general commanded the army. He commanded respect. He commanded respect. They commanded the troops. They commanded the troops.
To obey.
Soldiers must obey orders. Soldiers must obey orders. They obeyed without question. They obeyed without question. They refused to obey. They refused to obey.
Discipline.
Military discipline is strict. Military discipline is strict. They showed great discipline. They showed great discipline. Discipline is important. Discipline is important.
Honor.
They fought with honor. They fought with honor. It was a matter of honor. It was a matter of honor. They defended their honor. They defended their honor.
Duty.
They did their duty. They did their duty. It was their duty to fight. It was their duty to fight. They served with duty. They served with duty.
Loyalty.
They showed loyalty to their country. They showed loyalty to their country. Their loyalty was tested. Their loyalty was tested. They had great loyalty. They had great loyalty.
Patriotism.
They fought with patriotism. They fought with patriotism. Their patriotism was strong. Their patriotism was strong. Patriotism motivated them. Patriotism motivated them.
Sacrifice.
They made great sacrifices. They made great sacrifices. The sacrifice was necessary. The sacrifice was necessary. They gave the ultimate sacrifice. They gave the ultimate sacrifice.
To sacrifice.
They sacrificed their lives. They sacrificed their lives. They sacrificed everything. They sacrificed everything. They were willing to sacrifice. They were willing to sacrifice.
Hero.
He was a hero. He was a hero. They were heroes. They were heroes. The hero saved many lives. The hero saved many lives.
Heroic.
It was a heroic act. It was a heroic act. They were heroic. They were heroic. The heroic effort saved them. The heroic effort saved them.
Bravery.
They showed great bravery. They showed great bravery. Their bravery was admired. Their bravery was admired. Bravery is important in war. Bravery is important in war.
Glory.
They fought for glory. They fought for glory. The glory was short-lived. The glory was short-lived. They achieved glory. They achieved glory.
Fame.
The general achieved fame. The general achieved fame. They gained fame. They gained fame. The fame was well deserved. The fame was well deserved.
Honor.
They received military honors. They received military honors. The honor was great. The honor was great. They fought for honor. They fought for honor.
Medal.
He received a medal. He received a medal. The medal was for bravery. The medal was for bravery. They awarded him a medal. They awarded him a medal.
Decoration.
He received a military decoration. He received a military decoration. The decoration was prestigious. The decoration was prestigious. They gave him a decoration. They gave him a decoration.
Rank.
He achieved a high rank. He achieved a high rank. The rank was important. The rank was important. They promoted him to a higher rank. They promoted him to a higher rank.
Promotion.
He received a promotion. He received a promotion. The promotion was deserved. The promotion was deserved. They gave him a promotion. They gave him a promotion.
Service.
He served in military service. He served in military service. The service was honorable. The service was honorable. They completed their service. They completed their service.
Duty.
They did their duty. They did their duty. It was their duty to serve. It was their duty to serve. They served with duty. They served with duty.
Mission.
The mission was dangerous. The mission was dangerous. They completed the mission. They completed the mission. The mission was successful. The mission was successful.
Operation.
The military operation began. The military operation began. The operation was secret. The operation was secret. They planned the operation. They planned the operation.
Campaign.
The military campaign lasted months. The military campaign lasted months. The campaign was successful. The campaign was successful. They launched a campaign. They launched a campaign.
Raid.
They conducted a raid. They conducted a raid. The raid was successful. The raid was successful. The enemy raid was repelled. The enemy raid was repelled.
Ambush.
They set up an ambush. They set up an ambush. The ambush was successful. The ambush was successful. They fell into an ambush. They fell into an ambush.
Reconnaissance.
They conducted reconnaissance. They conducted reconnaissance. The reconnaissance mission gathered information. The reconnaissance mission gathered information. They sent a reconnaissance team. They sent a reconnaissance team.
Patrol.
They went on patrol. They went on patrol. The patrol was routine. The patrol was routine. The patrol discovered the enemy. The patrol discovered the enemy.
Guard.
The guard was on duty. The guard was on duty. They posted a guard. They posted a guard. The guard was alert. The guard was alert.
To guard.
They guarded the base. They guarded the base. They guarded the prisoners. They guarded the prisoners. They guarded the border. They guarded the border.
Watch.
They kept watch. They kept watch. The watch was constant. The watch was constant. They were on watch. They were on watch.
To watch.
They watched for the enemy. They watched for the enemy. They watched the border. They watched the border. They watched carefully. They watched carefully.
Alert.
They were on alert. They were on alert. The alert was sounded. The alert was sounded. They raised the alert. They raised the alert.
Warning.
They gave a warning. They gave a warning. The warning came too late. The warning came too late. They ignored the warning. They ignored the warning.
Signal.
They gave the signal. They gave the signal. The signal was clear. The signal was clear. They waited for the signal. They waited for the signal.
Code.
They used a secret code. They used a secret code. The code was broken. The code was broken. They communicated in code. They communicated in code.
Message.
They sent a message. They sent a message. The message was urgent. The message was urgent. They received the message. They received the message.
Communication.
Communication was difficult. Communication was difficult. They lost communication. They lost communication. Communication is vital. Communication is vital.
Radio.
They used the radio. They used the radio. The radio was broken. The radio was broken. They communicated by radio. They communicated by radio.
Map.
They studied the map. They studied the map. The map showed enemy positions. The map showed enemy positions. They used the map to navigate. They used the map to navigate.
Compass.
They used a compass. They used a compass. The compass pointed north. The compass pointed north. They navigated with a compass. They navigated with a compass.
Territory.
They controlled the territory. They controlled the territory. The territory was disputed. The territory was disputed. They advanced into enemy territory. They advanced into enemy territory.
Border.
They crossed the border. They crossed the border. The border was heavily guarded. The border was heavily guarded. They defended the border. They defended the border.
Land.
They fought for the land. They fought for the land. The land was valuable. The land was valuable. They conquered the land. They conquered the land.
Ground.
They fought on the ground. They fought on the ground. The ground was muddy. The ground was muddy. They gained ground. They gained ground.
Field.
The battle was fought in a field. The battle was fought in a field. They advanced across the field. They advanced across the field. The field was open. The field was open.
Forest.
They hid in the forest. They hid in the forest. The forest provided cover. The forest provided cover. They fought in the forest. They fought in the forest.
Mountain.
They climbed the mountain. They climbed the mountain. The mountain was strategic. The mountain was strategic. They defended the mountain. They defended the mountain.
Hill.
They took the hill. They took the hill. The hill was important. The hill was important. They fought on the hill. They fought on the hill.
Valley.
They advanced through the valley. They advanced through the valley. The valley was narrow. The valley was narrow. They were trapped in the valley. They were trapped in the valley.
River.
They crossed the river. They crossed the river. The river was a barrier. The river was a barrier. They defended the river. They defended the river.
Bridge.
They destroyed the bridge. They destroyed the bridge. The bridge was strategic. The bridge was strategic. They crossed the bridge. They crossed the bridge.
Road.
They blocked the road. They blocked the road. The road was important. The road was important. They advanced along the road. They advanced along the road.
Path.
They followed the path. They followed the path. The path was narrow. The path was narrow. They found a path through the forest. They found a path through the forest.
Position.
They took up positions. They took up positions. The position was strategic. The position was strategic. They defended their position. They defended their position.
Location.
They knew the location. They knew the location. The location was secret. The location was secret. They reported the location. They reported the location.
Area.
They controlled the area. They controlled the area. The area was dangerous. The area was dangerous. They secured the area. They secured the area.
Zone.
They entered the war zone. They entered the war zone. The zone was secure. The zone was secure. They cleared the zone. They cleared the zone.
Region.
They controlled the region. They controlled the region. The region was important. The region was important. They fought for the region. They fought for the region.
Country.
They defended their country. They defended their country. The country was at war. The country was at war. They invaded the country. They invaded the country.
Nation.
The nation was at war. The nation was at war. They fought for their nation. They fought for their nation. The nation mobilized. The nation mobilized.
State.
The state declared war. The state declared war. They served the state. They served the state. The state was at war. The state was at war.
Government.
The government declared war. The government declared war. The government mobilized the army. The government mobilized the army. They served the government. They served the government.
Leader.
The leader made the decision. The leader made the decision. They followed their leader. They followed their leader. The leader was respected. The leader was respected.
Ruler.
The ruler declared war. The ruler declared war. They obeyed the ruler. They obeyed the ruler. The ruler was powerful. The ruler was powerful.
King.
The king led the army. The king led the army. They fought for the king. They fought for the king. The king was at war. The king was at war.
Queen.
The queen supported the war. The queen supported the war. They served the queen. They served the queen. The queen was respected. The queen was respected.
Emperor.
The emperor commanded the army. The emperor commanded the army. They fought for the emperor. They fought for the emperor. The emperor was powerful. The emperor was powerful.
President.
The president declared war. The president declared war. They served the president. They served the president. The president was the commander-in-chief. The president was the commander-in-chief.
Minister.
The Minister of Defense planned the war. The Minister of Defense planned the war. They consulted the minister. They consulted the minister. The minister was important. The minister was important.
Diplomat.
The diplomat tried to prevent war. The diplomat tried to prevent war. They sent a diplomat. They sent a diplomat. The diplomat negotiated peace. The diplomat negotiated peace.
Negotiation.
The negotiations failed. The negotiations failed. They tried negotiation first. They tried negotiation first. The negotiations were difficult. The negotiations were difficult.
To negotiate.
They tried to negotiate peace. They tried to negotiate peace. They negotiated a treaty. They negotiated a treaty. They negotiated for months. They negotiated for months.
Agreement.
They reached an agreement. They reached an agreement. The agreement ended the war. The agreement ended the war. They signed the agreement. They signed the agreement.
Alliance.
They formed an alliance. They formed an alliance. The alliance was strong. The alliance was strong. They broke the alliance. They broke the alliance.
Coalition.
They formed a coalition. They formed a coalition. The coalition fought together. The coalition fought together. The coalition was powerful. The coalition was powerful.
Enemy.
The enemy attacked. The enemy attacked. They defeated the enemy. They defeated the enemy. The enemy retreated. The enemy retreated.
Foe.
They faced their foe. They faced their foe. The foe was strong. The foe was strong. They defeated their foe. They defeated their foe.
Opponent.
They faced a strong opponent. They faced a strong opponent. The opponent was skilled. The opponent was skilled. They defeated their opponent. They defeated their opponent.
Adversary.
They fought their adversary. They fought their adversary.
Bonus examples.
They won the battle. They won the battle. The army won the war. The army won the war. They won against all odds. They won against all odds. They lost the battle. They lost the battle. The enemy lost many soldiers. The enemy lost many soldiers. They lost the war. They lost the war. The troops moved forward. The troops moved forward. They moved quickly. They moved quickly. The army moved at night. The army moved at night. The soldiers advanced toward the enemy. The soldiers advanced toward the enemy. They advanced slowly. They advanced slowly. The army advanced on the city. The army advanced on the city. The soldiers marched for hours. The soldiers marched for hours. They marched in formation. They marched in formation. The army marched to the front. The army marched to the front. The soldiers ran to safety. The soldiers ran to safety. They ran from the enemy. They ran from the enemy. He ran as fast as he could. He ran as fast as he could. They walked through the forest. They walked through the forest. The soldiers walked for miles. The soldiers walked for miles. They walked carefully. They walked carefully. The army stopped to rest. The army stopped to rest. They stopped at the border. They stopped at the border. The fighting stopped. The fighting stopped. The battle started at dawn. The battle started at dawn. They started the attack. They started the attack. The war started in 1941. The war started in 1941. The invasion began at sunrise. The invasion began at sunrise. They began to prepare. They began to prepare. The operation began. The operation began. The war ended in 1945. The war ended in 1945. The battle ended at sunset. The battle ended at sunset. They ended the conflict. They ended the conflict. They finished the mission. They finished the mission. The battle finished quickly. The battle finished quickly. They finished preparing. They finished preparing. The fighting continued for days. The fighting continued for days. They continued to fight. They continued to fight. The war continued. The war continued. They waited for orders. They waited for orders. The soldiers waited in the trench. The soldiers waited in the trench. They waited for the signal. They waited for the signal. The soldiers hid in the forest. The soldiers hid in the forest. They hid from the enemy. They hid from the enemy. He hid behind the wall. He hid behind the wall. They searched for the enemy. They searched for the enemy. The soldiers searched the area. The soldiers searched the area. They searched for survivors. They searched for survivors. They found the enemy base. They found the enemy base. The soldiers found weapons. The soldiers found weapons. They found a safe path. They found a safe path. They looked for the enemy. They looked for the enemy. The soldier looked around carefully. The soldier looked around carefully. They looked at the map. They looked at the map. They saw the enemy approaching. They saw the enemy approaching. The soldier saw the danger. The soldier saw the danger. They saw the explosion. They saw the explosion. They heard the gunshots. They heard the gunshots. The soldiers heard the explosion. The soldiers heard the explosion. They heard the enemy coming. They heard the enemy coming. The general spoke to the troops. The general spoke to the troops. They spoke in code. They spoke in code. He spoke quietly. He spoke quietly. The commander said to attack. The commander said to attack. They said nothing. They said nothing. He said it was safe. He said it was safe. The officer told them to advance. The officer told them to advance. They told him the plan. They told him the plan. He told them to wait. He told them to wait. The soldier asked for permission. The soldier asked for permission. They asked for help. They asked for help. He asked what to do. He asked what to do. The general answered the question. The general answered the question. They answered the call for help. They answered the call for help. He answered immediately. He answered immediately. They called for reinforcements. They called for reinforcements. The commander called his men. The commander called his men. They called for a ceasefire. They called for a ceasefire. They sent troops to the front. They sent troops to the front. The general sent a message. The general sent a message. They sent for help. They sent for help. They received new orders. They received new orders. The soldiers received supplies. The soldiers received supplies. They received the message. They received the message. They took the enemy position. They took the enemy position. The soldiers took prisoners. The soldiers took prisoners. He took his weapon. He took his weapon. The general gave orders. The general gave orders. They gave their lives. They gave their lives. He gave them weapons. He gave them weapons. They brought supplies. They brought supplies. The trucks brought ammunition. The trucks brought ammunition. They brought reinforcements. They brought reinforcements. The soldiers carried their weapons. The soldiers carried their weapons. They carried the wounded. They carried the wounded. He carried a heavy pack. He carried a heavy pack. They loaded the weapons. They loaded the weapons. The soldiers loaded the truck. The soldiers loaded the truck. They loaded ammunition. They loaded ammunition. They prepared for battle. They prepared for battle. The army prepared to attack. The army prepared to attack. They prepared their weapons. They prepared their weapons. The generals planned the attack. The generals planned the attack. They planned the strategy. They planned the strategy. They planned carefully. They planned carefully. The commander thought about the plan. The commander thought about the plan. They thought it was safe. They thought it was safe. He thought quickly. He thought quickly. They knew the enemy's position. They knew the enemy's position. The soldier knew what to do. The soldier knew what to do. They knew the area well. They knew the area well. They understood the orders. They understood the orders. The soldiers understood the danger. The soldiers understood the danger. He understood the plan. He understood the plan. The soldiers learned to fight. The soldiers learned to fight. They learned from experience. They learned from experience. He learned quickly. He learned quickly. The soldiers trained every day. The soldiers trained every day. They trained for combat. They trained for combat. The officer trained new recruits. The officer trained new recruits. They practiced shooting. They practiced shooting. The soldiers practiced daily. The soldiers practiced daily. They practiced their skills. They practiced their skills. The soldiers rested after the battle. The soldiers rested after the battle. They rested for a few hours. They rested for a few hours. The army rested before attacking. The army rested before attacking. The soldiers slept in shifts. The soldiers slept in shifts. They slept in the camp. They slept in the camp. He slept for a few hours. He slept for a few hours. The soldiers woke at dawn. The soldiers woke at dawn. They woke to the sound of gunfire. They woke to the sound of gunfire. He woke early. He woke early. The soldiers ate their rations. The soldiers ate their rations. They ate quickly. They ate quickly. He ate before the battle. He ate before the battle. The soldiers drank water. The soldiers drank water. They drank from their canteens. They drank from their canteens. He drank to stay hydrated. He drank to stay hydrated. They needed more ammunition. They needed more ammunition. The soldiers needed rest. The soldiers needed rest. They needed help. They needed help. They wanted peace. They wanted peace. The soldiers wanted to go home. The soldiers wanted to go home. He wanted to fight. He wanted to fight. They tried to escape. They tried to escape. The soldiers tried to hold their position. The soldiers tried to hold their position. They tried their best. They tried their best. They used their weapons. They used their weapons. The soldiers used the map. The soldiers used the map. They used strategy. They used strategy. They worked together. They worked together. The soldiers worked on the fortifications. The soldiers worked on the fortifications. They worked day and night. They worked day and night. They served their country. They served their country. The soldiers served in the army. The soldiers served in the army. He served for 5 years. He served for 5 years. He joined the army. He joined the army. They joined the fight. They joined the fight. Many joined voluntarily. Many joined voluntarily. They left the base. They left the base. The soldiers left at dawn. The soldiers left at dawn. He left the army. He left the army. They returned to base. They returned to base. The soldiers returned from the front. The soldiers returned from the front. He returned home after the war. He returned home after the war. Reinforcements came quickly. Reinforcements came quickly. They came to help. They came to help. The enemy came from the north. The enemy came from the north. They went to the front. They went to the front. The soldiers went into battle. The soldiers went into battle. They went together. They went together. The troops arrived at dawn. The troops arrived at dawn. They arrived safely. They arrived safely. Supplies arrived yesterday. Supplies arrived yesterday. They reached the enemy position. They reached the enemy position. The soldiers reached the border. The soldiers reached the border. They reached their goal. They reached their goal. They entered the enemy territory. They entered the enemy territory. The soldiers entered the building. The soldiers entered the building. They entered the war zone. They entered the war zone. They exited the building safely. They exited the building safely. The soldiers exited quickly. The soldiers exited quickly. They exited the area. They exited the area. They opened fire. They opened fire. The soldiers opened the gate. The soldiers opened the gate. They opened the supply boxes. They opened the supply boxes. They closed the gate. They closed the gate. The soldiers closed ranks. The soldiers closed ranks. They closed the base. They closed the base. They broke through enemy lines. They broke through enemy lines. The soldiers broke the code. The soldiers broke the code. They broke the treaty. They broke the treaty. They fixed the weapon. They fixed the weapon. The soldiers fixed the equipment. The soldiers fixed the equipment. They fixed the radio. They fixed the radio. They repaired the vehicle. They repaired the vehicle. The soldiers repaired the bridge. The soldiers repaired the bridge. They repaired the damage. They repaired the damage. They built fortifications. They built fortifications. The soldiers built a bridge. The soldiers built a bridge. They built a base. They built a base. They made a plan. They made a plan. The soldiers made camp. The soldiers made camp. They made progress. They made progress. They did their duty. They did their duty. The soldiers did what they were told. The soldiers did what they were told. They did their best. They did their best. They got new supplies. They got new supplies. The soldiers got orders. The soldiers got orders. They got help. They got help. They had enough ammunition. They had enough ammunition. The soldiers had weapons. The soldiers had weapons. They had a plan. They had a plan. They were ready for battle. They were ready for battle. The soldiers were brave. The soldiers were brave. They were at the front. They were at the front. He became a soldier. He became a soldier. They became heroes. They became heroes. The situation became dangerous. The situation became dangerous.